So nice to see everybody here tonight. Thank you so much for coming. So welcome to the Celebration of Teaching. I'm Andrea Abersold. I'm the Program Director for Faculty Instructional Development, and I'm thrilled to be here at my very first Celebration of Teaching. Thanks. So I came to UCI last year with the tall order of carrying on the amazing work of Dee Gallo, and I feel so lucky to be here. In my short time at UCI, I have met amazing faculty from across the disciplines who are creative, curious, and dedicated to being the best teachers that they can be, many of whom are being honored here tonight. It has been an honor to work with you and learn from all of you, but the real secret to my success, as well as the organizing of tonight's beautiful event, is my office manager, Brenda Fisher. So, Brenda, who's probably hiding out there, I'm going to say thank you so much for everything that you've done, and that your support and your giving nature and infectious spirit lights up the room. So Brenda, thank you for putting together such a beautiful event tonight. And now I get to introduce our host tonight, who supports all of the wonderful things that I get to do on campus. So please join me in welcoming Vice Provost of Teaching and Learning and Dean of Undergraduate Education, Michael Denon.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Very exciting to be here. Couple comments. It is, if you're not aware, the 25th anniversary of this event. The event started in 1992 with a single award and lunch at the U Club. So I would like you to take in this gorgeous environment that's been created for you in celebration on the 25th and see where we've come as a campus in terms of celebrating teaching and really elevating it to the level it deserves to be elevated. So this is an exciting evening to have reached this. As always, we'll be honoring both graduate students and faculty for their extraordinary passion and dedication to teaching. This year, unfortunately, the provost couldn't make it, and so I get the pleasure of making a few opening remarks, and you have the problem of having to listen to me, but I just want to say a few quick things because we've been having a moving title problem within my unit in that I keep changing the name of things on you. And so I think I would like to say we do have the Division of Teaching Excellence and Innovation, and we don't plan to change the name next year. So it'll be that for at least 2 years. I'm not sure what else in my unit. I'm looking for something else to change the name of. I haven't found anything yet. But it's exciting to have reached this point. It's been a long evolution over the campus. A lot of people have done a lot that contributed and got us here. And I'm going to embarrass Dee Gallo briefly because she really has been one of the major movers and shakers on this campus that got us to where we are now. I want to remind people, it'll be obvious later, because of that, the Professor of the Year Award is now the Dr. Dee Gallo Professor of the Year Award. And it's my great honor and pleasure that Dee will be presenting it this year to the winner. So a double honor for us on the 25th anniversary. I was very excited when Dee was, because now Dee is always traveling and having, loads of fun. So to corner her for this event is very special. But to give you an idea, there's a lot of things happening in the various corners that we're doing. And I'm just going to list a few here. We have our Teaching and Learning Research Center, which is doing a large number of research projects with faculty, but it's nice that we're doing some targeted things with grad students as well in the area of active learning with grants from NSF and AAU. Of course, we continue to do our great training of grad students through TAPDAP, a long-standing program. And this is kind of impressive, I think, training over 1,000 TAs each year, which is really exciting to do. We are, as a campus, one of the leaders in the UCs and on our online education, but I think we're ready to enter the next phase of it. We've developed a large number of online courses. Most faculty don't realize that 10 to 20% of the enrollments during the year, fall, winter, spring, are already online. It's not just for summer anymore. It's a year-round experience. And I think now what we have to do is make that next intellectual step to, it's not about online or not online, it's about leveraging technology appropriately in the classroom. The analogy I give is I'm pretty sure, though I don't know for a fact, it might have happened, when the printing press was invented, there wasn't a discussion of scroll-based and printed books. Classes, right? They weren't probably listed that way in the university catalogs of whether you were using a printed book or a hand-printed calligraphy book. And there probably weren't long discussions. You adopted the technology where it was appropriate. And so I think that's what we need to do, make sure we're doing forward as a campus. And that's why we have the research arm as well as the pedagogical support so that this technology is leveraged and delivered where it needs to be. I think the most exciting bullet point I'll close with is the Anteater Learning Pavilion will come online next fall. And I've now learned how to get faculty excited about pedagogical training. We announced if you want to be scheduled in a new building, you need active learning certification. And I'm happy to report that we have 171 faculty who are either working on it or already certified out of all the faculty. So if you have not been certified yet, notice that number. There's 171 people ahead of you in line for the new classrooms, including 400, 250, and 100-person lecture halls. So all that battle over the 400-person lecture halls, this is your edge in. There's a lot of other things, partnerships, workshops, and everything going on, but it's exciting times here. And it really is, this celebration is one of the highlights of, I think, my year, and many of you are here, when we get to come together and celebrate teaching in this way. And it's interesting in our roles, the ways we can impact and change students through this. And I still, actually, I'll admit, I still actually teach occasionally, and I'm actually teaching this quarter. And it's just, there's something immediate. I love research, and research has its great rewards, but they tend to be long-term. And one of the things I really like about teaching is that more immediate interaction and feedback from the students as you impact their lives and you change them there in the moment. And to go back and forth, I think that's one of the great privileges of being at a major research university. You get to do the research, you get to embed in that part that you love, but you also get to influence these young people and be involved in this other enterprise that has a more direct impact. So we're going to start the awards ceremony now, but before I do that, I do want to, because I always forget, actually change the order and do the thank yous at the beginning for myself. And I do want to add my thanks to Brenda, who does a great job with this event, so we can applaud for her again, who's probably still hiding outside. I want to thank Andrea and all the work she did, and I want to thank the Senate committee. I'm going to Council on Teaching, Learning, and Student Experience. I always get the letters out of order when I try and use the acronym, but the faculty on that help us review and select the winners. I want to thank the deans ahead of time for their 2-minute introduction of the candidates, or less. You can go shorter. And I want to thank them for remembering that this is a teaching award, and so we know they're awesome researchers. We don't need that long list. So you may want to be changing your talk now. I don't know. But we do, and I want to thank all of you and all of the staff in DTI and everybody who works hard for this. If I try and name everybody, I'm sure I'll forget someone, but a big thank you for everyone for making this work. And with that, we will move to the first honoree, which is from the Sue and Bill Gross School of Nursing, and Professor Allison Holman is here to present the award.
Thank you, Mike, and good afternoon, everybody. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Candace Burton. Candace came to us a couple of years ago and has been teaching in our school consistently without complaint, which is very nice. Ain't always easy, right? But a few things I want to point out. We all know how hard it is to teach writing, right? To undergrads, right? It's a hard effort. Well, a few things about Candace and her teaching. So Candace, she has a bachelor's in English. So guess what we decided? Guess who's teaching our W course? So she's come, and in all the courses that she's taught for us thus far, Candace has managed to get teaching evaluations that are at or above the 90th percentile. Pretty remarkable. Now, I admit some of those aren't undergrad courses, but let me tell you what they say for her undergrad courses. So the students, when I looked at all of her evaluations and I looked at what the comments were of the students, these are the things that the students say about Candace and her teaching. Enthusiasm, passion, engaging, fun, stimulating, open, loved it, pushed me outside my comfort zone and made me think really critically. But the best one that has to do with the writing piece, she made me learn APA style, and she did it in a way that was interesting. That is the ultimate accolade for somebody teaching a writing course, right? Okay, with no further words from me, I want to introduce to you Dr. Candace Burton.
Oh, there you are.
The first award, this is where you figured out.
Good, thank you.
So I guess I should have given our presenters a slight bit of instruction. The award you're handing out is here on the small table to my left. So as you come up to give out the awards, is where it'll be. Great example of 2 minutes or less. We love that. No. So not to put any pressure, we now have the School of Social Science and Dean Bill Maurer.
Well, stairs on the side, I mean, yeah, so I failed the stairs on the side part. There are stairs on the side for the next people who have to come up here. Don't do what I did. It is a real honor to introduce to you Professor Davin Phoenix from the Department of Political Science. Davin joined us just 4 years ago, and in that short period of time has reached over 1,000 students in his classes on political psychology, race and media, race and ethnic politics, and African-American politics, among others. This is a mix of undergrad and graduate classes where he receives extremely high evaluations. Just to give you an example of kind of the impact that he's had, this course in African-American politics, when he started it out, had, I think, like 18 or 19 students in it, and just last fall, it had grown to over 100. So really quite an achievement. Another significant thing, though, to share about Davin, which really makes it a true pleasure to present him with this award, is he is one of the campus's true champions for first-generation students. And you know, a large percentage of our student population here are the first in their family to go to college. Davin co-founded and co-directs something we launched in the school called the First Gen First Quarter Challenge, which provides peer mentoring and training for the mentors as well, themselves first-generation students, and has become a model both for things that are happening on the wider campus through Mike's office and elsewhere, but also for the nation. The work that he's done has been covered in the LA Times, Inside Higher Ed, and other venues. So it's truly, truly a privilege to have him on our faculty, not just in my school, but for all of us. Please join me in congratulating Professor Davin Phoenix.
Next up, the School of Education with Dean Richard Aram.
Thank you. I'm honored today to give out this award to Rachel Baker, a former teacher, a researcher focused on how educational policy affects access and equity in schools. Rachel teaches regularly for us one of our core undergraduate classes. It's a model for pedagogical practices, including active learning techniques with highly structured group activities. Also uses media, current videos, news stories, timely graphs, and all to make for an exciting, dynamic course that students say is not only a great educational experience, but also a warm environment, and they complement Rachel's enthusiasm for her instruction. I also want to say, we're not supposed to say anything about research, but we have to say this about Rachel. She also uses data from the course to formatively evaluate and improve on the course quarter to quarter. And that's the way that all of us should be using data and research in our work. So it's my honor to introduce and congratulate Rachel Baker.
Yes, I would like to quickly reiterate, using data to improve your teaching, though it is research, is also teaching. So that is very acceptable. We highly approve of that. I'm just doing a sanity check. Dean Leslie, is Francis here at the moment? Okay, we are going to show our most promising faculty award short little video right now. And we will move forward and come back to the actual award when Francis gets here. So for now, enjoy the video, and then we'll be right back.
I think Dale Carnegie said that to a person, the sweetest sound on earth is their name. And I've also heard that if a teacher doesn't know a student's name, it's as though they don't exist. And so for me, the best teaching strategy is if teachers can know the students' names or at least use them. I've seen teachers who were celebrated at this very event who were using the names. Maybe in a large class they didn't actually know everyone's name, but when a student contributed to the conversation, the teacher found out the name and used it and attributed ideas to that student. I've even seen a teacher celebrated here who would send emails later to say thank you for participating in our class in this fashion. And I thought that was really impressive. So for me, I think using the names and valuing the presence of the students in our class is the best teaching strategy I can think of.
Hi, I'm Leticia Garcia. I'm a sixth-year doctoral candidate in the Department of Theater and Drama here at UCI. Teaching to me is collaboration, art, and creativity. It's a way that we cultivate young minds and prepare them for the future. And at UCI, that's what has been taught to me, and that's what I will teach my future students.
So at this point, I'd like to invite up Dean and Vice Provost Francis Leslie to present Most Promising Future Faculty Awards.
So it's my great pleasure, I love to do this every year, is to present the awards for the most promising future faculty. So as you all know, faculty actually have to be good at three things. It's not just research or teaching, they also have to have a service component. So unlike all the other awards that are given today, we look at all three areas for the Future Faculty Award. And so I'm really pleased that we are able to announce 2 monetary awards and 1 honorary award, since the awardee will be leaving before they can receive the money. So first is Eric Lucas, who is in chemistry and who's getting a monetary award. Is Eric with us? No? Eric Law. Sorry, I missed the A. So Eric is focused, efficient, and resourceful researcher in Dr. Elizabeth Jarvo's lab, where she mentors undergraduate and junior graduate students. She is creative in proposing experiments and precise in executing them. When an experiment doesn't go as planned, Erica is resilient and doesn't get discouraged easily. That's an important trait for future faculty. Erica is an excellent teacher in classroom and laboratory settings, where she serves as an outstanding role model for her students. Her students note that she is clear, approachable, and explains difficult topics well. One quote from an undergraduate nominator: I am nominating her because she helped a student like myself who was taking this class as a retake, ready to change majors and even transfer universities, regain my confidence and feel like I can actually handle this. In service, Erica currently serves on the executive committee of Iota Sigma Pi, the Honors Society for Women in Chemistry. She has coordinated outreach to Girls Inc. and the Santa Ana Zoo and designed a Saturday morning chemistry class for preteens with disabilities. She co-organized a workshop on effective negotiation for graduate students, postdocs, and faculty, and works to improve the safety culture in the chemistry department. Well done. Next is Rachel June Smith from Biomedical Engineering, who is also receiving a monetary award. So Rachel is a member of Dr. Beth Lapore's lab, where she also mentors an undergraduate student. Her research involves the quantitative analysis of human brain data. That's a subject after my heart, because I'm a neuroscientist too. And her work has the potential to improve patient outcomes and reduce costs by enabling physicians to quickly discontinue ineffective treatments. Rachel has been an author on 4 peer-reviewed publications and 2 conference papers. With teaching, Rachel is recognized as an outstanding instructor and receiving the TA of the Year Award in Biomedical Engineering 2 years in a row. She's been selected to serve as a pedagogical fellow to help train new graduate student TAs in engineering, and she's obtained an associate level certification in our new Center for Integrative Research in Teaching and Learning, or CERTL, which recognizes her commitment to those 3 things. In service, Rachel mentors undergraduate engineering students through the BME mentoring program. She serves as the BME representative for a decade and recently applied to serve as a decade-plus leadership coach for undergraduate Chancellor's Excellence Scholars. She co-organized a disciplinary journal, an interdisciplinary journal club focusing on systems neuroscience literature, and gave a community research talk for Bruising Brains. Congratulations. And then last but not least, Zachary Thamavonsky in chemistry also, who is receiving an honorary award because he's graduating in spring of this year. Excellent. So that's my other favorite thing to do, is to be there at the hooding ceremony. Will you be there?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, I'll see you then. So in research, Zach is a very productive member of Dr. Jenny Yang's research group, where he's been an outstanding mentor to several undergraduate students. He has 2 first author publications and will be submitting a 3rd shortly. His research focuses on how the local environment around a metal ion affects its reactivity. His work led to the synthesis of a new metal ion framework. Teaching, he is a top TA in the chemistry department, which has a lot of TAs, I have to say. And last year, Zach was selected as a pedagogical fellow and helped to train new graduate student TAs in physical sciences. To help make chemistry fun, Zach developed a novel series of card and board games to help students learn the periodic table, spectroscopy, and inorganic chemistry. These games have been beta tested with the students. Zach's students commend him for going above and beyond to meet with them individually if they're struggling, and note that he genuinely cares about us. In service, last year, Zach won the chemistry department's outstanding contributions to the department award for his dedication to undergraduate teaching and research. Only one of these awards is made annually. Zach consistently assists with chemistry's graduate student recruitment efforts, and he has served as a volunteer poster judge at the UCI SoCal Undergraduate Chemistry Symposium during the last several summers. Thank you very much for your report. So thank you to all our wonderful students, and I think you can see that the future of the faculty is in good hands. Thank you.
I like the music. Next up is the School of Physical Sciences with Associate Dean David Van Rankin.
It's a privilege today on behalf of the School of Physical Sciences to honor Professor Susan King as the honoree for our school. Susan is a driving force in the area of organic chemistry instruction, and she has taught thousands and thousands of students in the difficult subject over her time within the Department of Chemistry. We trust her to teach our majors the laboratory skills that they need to be successful. And let's just be straight, organic chemistry is a difficult topic and a hurdle for many students. We take the difficult subject of general chemistry, we put it into three-dimensional structures. We overlap on top of that another 3 dimensions of nucleophilicity across 70 orders of magnitude, another 50 orders of three-dimensional structure overlapped on top of that, another 3-dimensional map on top of that of electrostatics, and 23 orders of magnitude of population or concentration. And students are supposed to master this, and Professor King makes this possible. She's taken a tome that's written in scrollwork or Gutenberg presses and condensed this down into a series of notes that the students love and can use. On top of that, she has YouTube lectures to support all of her lectures that she does in class. She has pedagogically sound, and I've seen these in action, problem sets. She's created a set of pedagogically sound problem sets for the online homeworks that are used by other faculty within the Department of Chemistry. She is beloved by the students. Her lectures are packed, and this is not just her students in the 400-seat classrooms that she typically, it's students from other faculty members who are coming to her lectures to see her do her job. Her office hours are packed. She's beloved. The student ratings are through the roof. Top instructor in the Department of Chemistry. We need more instructors like you. You're respected by the faculty, you're loved by the students, and congratulations, Professor King. Come up and get this award. I can't believe you didn't get this award already. What have we been thinking?
Next up, the School of Arts and Dean Stephen Barker.
I just like to stand next to Dennis. I want to introduce you to Dennis Castellano, who for over 30 years has been music theater in this region. There are 4 generations of Castellanos in front of you at a table in the middle of the room, and there are more than 4 generations of music theater students who have come through what is one of the top music theater programs in the United States. Very significantly the result of the work that Dennis Castellano has done as a faculty member, as a great pianist and accompanier, as a mentor for students and other faculty. The program has grown exponentially under his direction. We've added a program, a graduate program in music theater direction, one of the very few in the United States. This has been a visionary, see why I like to stand next to him, a visionary in the world of music theater. I asked Gary Busby, the chair of the drama department, who's working up at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival at the moment, to write something about Dennis. They work very closely together, so let me tell you what the chair of the drama department has to say. Dennis Castellano is now ready to retire after having led the nationally recognized music theater program at UCI for over 30 years. During that time, he's trained and mentored scores of performers, many of whom have made illustrious careers on Broadway, on stages the world over, and in film and television. There is simply no way to express how much Dennis is valued and esteemed by those with whom he has worked, how widely his influence reaches, and how much his warmth and expertise will be missed. I must tell you that this man is a researcher in music theater. It's little known that in the arts, all of our facilities are research laboratories. And the way in which the laboratory run by Dennis Castellano works is that the research is literally into the immediate physical and affective experience of people in the presence of great music and great performance. How does that work? How do you train students to become researchers into the effects that they immediately create on members of an audience? How do you train them to do that without making them self-conscious, without turning into something that doesn't have the effect that it needs to have? This is a very intricate and very sophisticated set of techniques that have been developed by Dennis. I must say that in addition to the excellence of teaching for which Dennis is being recognized today, he is also, I must tell you, getting a second accolade today. Dennis is, as of June 30th, going to be the most promising professor emeritus in the drama department. And as a result, the future is going to be with 4 generations of Castellanos and with the rest of us on campus. Professor Dennis Castellano.
Thank you.
Got it?
I really like that we now have a new award. I think we can go campus-wide, most promising emeriti faculty. I don't know if that will how that will change the dynamics as that's offered. Anyway, moving on, our next school is School of Humanities with Dean George Vanderbiel.
So we're delighted in School of Humanities to be honoring Professor Zina Giannopoulou from the Department of Classics. Let me say a bit about why we're honoring her. Because if I back up for a minute, one of the things we do as deans is we review faculty all year long, not only for events like this, but just part of normal merits and the like. And of course, you pay close attention to their teaching skills and evaluations. And there's a wide range of those, right? There are some folks who teach dozens of students extremely well. There are some who teach hundreds of students. And then there are some who teach thousands of students in effective ways. Some faculty are really terrific in a lecture format, and that is why they shine. Others are really gifted in the small seminar discussion format and do really well. A very few excel at both, but there's only one that I know of who can teach a 400-plus lecture class and make it feel like a small discussion section, and that is Professor Giannopoulou, who knows everyone's name in those classes and usually teaches a couple of those per year. Hence, she is the School of Humanities' highest student credit hour faculty member in terms of just thousands and thousands of students and thousands of honors. And so she teaches Classics 45, there's a sequence A, B, and C, which is classical mythology, which is one of the largest classes here at UCI, limited by the size of the classroom. So we're hoping that there's some room, because if anyone is a model of interactive teaching at a large scale, it would be Zina Giannopoulou. Her evaluations, the department uses a 9-point scale, not a 5-point scale, not a 7-point scale, but a 9-point scale. So you can't possibly win on that, can you? Well, she has 8.9 ratings out of 9 in 400-plus lecture classes. That is an extraordinary feat. And I'll just read one student quote out of thousands of student quotes that are equally good to talk about her passion, her effectiveness, her ability to make people interested in a subject matter they had thought they had no interest at all in, to make them think about their lives as they work through the reading of classical mythology. This student says, Zina is an absolutely amazing professor in person. I always, this is something you said, many of the students, I always learn something from every class. I've never seen that before. I always come out of class with a new insight on different aspects of life. This has got to be my favorite class ever. And that's saying something, given this is my 4th year as a biomedical engineering major. So, which is saying that Zina's not only teaching our majors, but students across the campus and getting the kind of accolades and reward for that. So it's an extraordinary pleasure and honor to celebrate Professor Zina Giannopoulou for this award today. Congratulations.
So the TA Instructional Development Award is such a special award because it honors faculty members who are sharing their pedagogical experience with TAs that will become future faculty members. By providing trainings, classes, and mentorship, faculty give TAs at UCI valuable experience that in turn has a profound effect on the undergraduates in their classes. This year's winner, Dan Cycle, has been instrumental in bringing evidence-based teaching methods to the TAs in the School of Humanities. Dan brought what he learned as a pedagogical fellow here at UCI to the Mellon 5+2 Teaching Institute, a grant program in the humanities that allows graduate students to complete their dissertation in 5 years, followed by 2 years of teaching as a faculty fellow. Dan co-directed the Teaching Institute with Associate Dean Julia Lupton, where he introduced interactive teaching strategies such as game-based instruction and designed role-playing office hours, where some TAs played students coming to office hours and the other TAs practiced working with them through a variety of situations. Dan has received numerous campus awards, as well as a national award for his teaching and leadership, and he continues his own teaching education by completing multiple teaching certificates. Julia Lupton describes Dan as someone who is, quote, contributing substantially to building a culture of teaching in the School of Humanities that is student-centered, outcomes-oriented, and evidence-based, and is having a real impact on our teaching assistants. Undoubtedly, Dan's work is having a ripple effect as TAs learn from him and then carry those lessons into their own classes. Though Dan could not be here tonight, I am delighted that I am still able to congratulate him and present this award with Dean George Van Dannebiel accepting on Dan's behalf.
Up next, the School of Engineering with Dean Greg Washington.
Don't you feel like Bob Hope with this, with this music? So I'm happy to present our Teaching Excellence Award to Professor QV Dang from the San Juan School. QV, where, yeah, there he is. QV actually, as you'll see when he comes up, he's a fairly young professor. He actually worked his way up into this position, starting as a Unit 18 lecturer for our Electrical Engineering and Computer Science Department since fall 2013. And then as we made the shift to bringing more professors of teaching professors on board, he became the department's first teaching professor. He teaches primarily lower division engineering courses and digital systems and programming. These courses are actually required for actual 3 majors, our electrical engineering major, our computer engineering, and our computer science and engineering majors. His teaching evaluations are astronomical. And you say, well, you know, he's still fairly young, fairly junior. Why would you give him these awards? Well, having astronomical teaching evaluations is one, but we also have an accreditation framework called ABET. And those who know about the accreditation world know that the engineering accreditation framework is one of the most rigorous in all of academia. It takes about 3 years to prepare for it. We're actually preparing for the 2019 entity now, and it involves it's multiple people from multiple places all over the country who actually converge, and you literally set aside a whole room full of data to basically accommodate these individuals during about a week's time when they're here. In terms of so we're preparing for our 2019 visit now. We have been, and QV is actually, and in order to be good at this, you have to be adept at both program curriculum development and also assessment of student outcomes. And QV is already leading all of our programs in his innovative way of collecting and analyzing assessment data, and as well as involving his colleagues in a meaningful way through the continuous curriculum improvement process that we have in engineering. And for that note, we want to invite QV to come up and receive this award. QV?
Up next, the School of Social Ecology and Chair Cheryl Maxon.
Hi there. On behalf of the Dean of Social Ecology and as chair of the Department of Criminology, Law, and Society, it's my pleasure to provide Teresa Dalton with this teaching honor. Since joining UCI in 2012, Teresa Dalton has proved to be an innovative and highly effective instructor teaching introductory courses in criminology, law, and society, as well as social ecology, providing statistical training to both undergraduate master's students and PhD students, and teaching a range of electives. She's run seminars for faculty and flipping courses, has introduced our faculty to technological innovations that have improved their teaching, and even initiated an undergraduate book club on her own initiative, right? As director of the online master's program in advanced studies since 2015, Terry helped our faculty introduce and use new instructional technology that I think really improved our students' learning experience. She's received a number of recognitions for her teaching, including the Faculty Senate's Distinguished Assistant Professor of Teaching Award. So thank you, Terry, for all your contributions.
And now we have from the Paul Merage School of Business, Associate Dean VC will present the award.
So we are actually recognizing two of our fantastic professors today. I'm here to introduce just one of them. Professor David Yang. He is very young, has been at UCI for 3 years, and he teaches in the area of finance, and he teaches very highly quantitative classes, which are very difficult subject matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start with what the students said about him. So students say his teaching is clear and responsive, and his enthusiasm about content and slight humor make the class fun. He takes complex topics and is able to convey them clearly to students, engages students, and keeps them interested throughout the quarter. By far, the best teacher I have taken at UCI. So he's only been here 3 years, and I'll tell you a little bit about his class, which is a very difficult class. So the class is called Investments, and he teaches portfolio theory, market efficiency, asset pricing models, factor models, and option pricing theory. The class is difficult, so if we, at Mirage School, we also look at the score on rigor, and that question is on a 3-point scale, and his class is rated 2.33, which is on the difficult side. So very difficult class, and on that, despite that, his overall ratings on a 4-point scale were 3.94. Okay, so let me just help me welcome and honor Professor David Yang.
I would now like to invite up Danny Mann, and we have a tribute to the Pedagogical Fellows.
Hello, everyone. It is my honor to recognize the 2017 Pedagogical Fellows. This particular group will always hold a very special place in my heart because they were the first cohort that I worked with for an entire year now that I'm the program director. And as former directors have said before me, working with the PFs, as I call them, is easily one of the best parts of my job. Let me tell you a little bit about what they accomplished last year. Even to apply for the fellowship, these graduate students went through a rigorous application process similar to the academic hiring process, where they're competitively selected for being exceptional teachers, scholars, and for having genuine passion for teaching and learning. After being selected, they took a year-long course with me in higher education pedagogy and academic job preparation. And along the way, they applied their knowledge to develop discipline-specific TA training for new graduate students, or as we call it, TAP-DAP. They introduced new TAs to evidence-based teaching, active and collaborative learning, lesson design, and assignment grading, to name a few of the topics. So each time you've had an awesome TA support you, you can thank our PS for giving them some great ideas. And this group in particular was responsible for training almost 1,000 TAs this year. So they have quite an impact. And they all received excellent reviews from their audience of exhausted and captive TAs. So they did all of that while progressing in their grad programs, providing other services to their departments, winning awards, and many of them were also finishing their dissertation and on the job market. And one PF that we heard from earlier even launched his own business for educational games. Shout out to D-Orbital Games. We were the test group, and many of the initial investors are sitting back there. So another major goal of the program is to provide grad students an interdisciplinary and supportive community that prioritizes teaching and learning. This not only broadens cross-campus collaborations and understanding of university as a whole, but it also supports our collective mental health. After a year of hard work and lots of fun together, we all became PFFs, as I like to call them. Genuine friendships grew with the PFFs as we celebrated birthdays together, supported each other's hobbies, had our regular pub lunches, and afternoon tea times. And I'm proud to include myself in the PFF group because I was a PF when I was a grad student at UCI. So since they completed their service last year, many of them have gone on to be senior PFs and help the DTI with additional workshops and trainings. And every time I see the quality of their work, I'm just so proud of what they've accomplished. So thank you, PFs, for everything you've done to contribute to student learning at UCI and for providing the much needed service to new TAs and for being so fun and inspiring to work with. So please stand and remain standing when I call your name. We'll give them all a big round of applause once I'm done. But like we did in class, if you want to give a more quiet acknowledgement, we can do snaps when we call their names. So Jordan Balaban, Galia Barsever, Alex Bauer, Taiji Chen, Tara Dornfeld, Diego Fernandez, Ethan Galeback, Yasmin Gorbanian, Georgia Halkia, Tien Ho, Vanessa Kaufman, Cameron Kalahi. Your hands getting tired? Henry Lamb, Amy Magnus, Michael Mahoney, Adam Maley, Marianne Mendoza, Caitlin Alvarez-Noli, Ali Alomi, Miranda Pfeiffer, Nicole Short, Aubrey Slaughter, Zachary Tamavangzi, Elin Wang, and Michael Wood. Okay, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you.
And now we move on to the Donald Brand School of Information and Computer Science and Dean Marios Papathumio.
Hi, everyone. It's an honor to introduce Professor Krista Lopes, the Dean's Honoree for Excellence in Teaching in the Donald Brand School of Information and Computer Sciences. Krista is one of our faculty members in the Department of Informatics, and she contributes to the teaching mission of the school in every conceivable way. She has been routinely receiving excellent scores in her teaching evaluations for both undergraduate and graduate courses, but that's just the beginning. Over the years, he has made outstanding contributions to the development of new material in our information retrieval and programming languages courses. She has also led a major effort in the department for the establishment of a professional master's program in software engineering. The program is scheduled to go, quote unquote, online in fall of 2018, which is a major accomplishment. Moreover, she has mentored literally a dozen of PhD students who have received their degrees from our school, with many more students at various stages in their careers in the pipeline. Krista is not only an outstanding teacher, as you would expect, she's also an outstanding researcher. Let me read just a couple of things about her accomplishments on the research front, which tie very, very nicely with her teaching contributions. Her research is in the area of software engineering, where she specializes in programming languages and open source software. She is known as the founder of the aspect-oriented programming style, a major theoretical development which was recognized with the Test of Time Award by the European Conference on Object-Oriented Programming. She is also very well known as the author of a popular book, Exercises in Programming Style, from CRC Press. Please join me in congratulating Krista for her accomplishments.
Now we're on the Ayala School of Biological Sciences, and Associate Dean Raju Methrade is here to present the award.
So it's my honor to present this award to Professor Lee Bardwell. As you know, the major in biological sciences is one of the largest on campus. We routinely get well over 1,000 students every year. And teaching in the core sequence of courses, as Dr. Bardwell does, is a major challenge. We routinely fill the largest classrooms on campus, multiple times over for each core course. So Lee does this, and he does it extremely well. As you can imagine, because he's being honored tonight, his student evaluations, the numbers are extremely high, and the comments from the students are always really impressive. And so like the other honorees, he shines in that aspect. But I asked him, given that he shares these qualities with the other people in this room, what sets his teaching style, what sets his classes apart? And so he thought for a little bit, and he mentioned, well, we do all the usual interactive learning, clickers, problem-based learnings, that kind of stuff. But he was very proud of two things in particular. And one, I think he was most proud of this. He said, we teach ethics. He teaches genetics, by the way. The core course is genetics. And he says, we teach ethics. And the students get really into this ethical discussion, and they get very excited about it, and it seems interesting and important, and it conveys important information to the students in an enjoyable way. The other thing he mentioned, he didn't mention it as being extraordinary, but it struck me. He said there's the movement aspect of it. And I asked him, what do you mean by that? And he says, well, they act out genetics. I still don't know what that means. But maybe with your encouragement, he will demonstrate. Professor Lee Bardwell. That's not it.
So, as I knew I would do, I forgot a critical thank you when I was doing my thank yous, which is OIT. One of the awards today is actually sponsored by the Office of Information Technology, and it wouldn't happen without that partnership. And it's a deep partnership between DTEI and OIT. And so, thank you. And I remembered it because we're about to have you present the award. So, my memory does sort of work a little bit. So this is our Instructional Technology Innovation Award, and I would like to invite up Shorey Bozomeri to present the award.
Thank you, Michael, very much. I'm very honored to present this year's Instructional Technology Innovation Award to Dr. Mariah Runnerstrom. She is quite busy. She is a lecturer PSOE, Director of Undergraduate Education, Director of Undergraduate Practicum Program, and the Director of Undergraduate Honors Research Program at the School of Public Health. For her teaching through her Public Health 60 fully online course, Environmental Health and Quality, Dr. Runnerstrom uses traditional and non-traditional pedagogical strategies to foster students' learning. She takes a gamified approach, uses real-world case studies, role-playing, and assigned group work that was completed weekly online. This class proposes a case study on rainforest deforestation in the Brazilian Amazon, which fosters a modern foundation for student learning. During the course offering, she assigned students to roles in which course materials were completed while staying in character. These groups also met weekly using Canvas's Big Blue Button technology, which is a video conferencing tool, and pre-designed Google Doc worksheets to guide discussion and gather their decisions and reflections. Her strategies encourage group participation and interdependence and bring awareness towards certain issues such as climate change. In her Climate Change and Disaster Management Public Health 172 course, students have cross-campus interactions with faculty and peers, technologies such as Zoom, which is a video conferencing tool for online collaboration and communication, are utilized to invite guest speakers to weekly webinars where students can ask questions and chat. This design increases the level of engagement, not only among the students, but also between the students, faculty, and teaching assistants. She has also been a key factor for the growth of the public health program and is constantly staying on top of the latest advancements in classroom technology. According to Stephanie Leonard, the Director of Student Affairs in Public Health, students line up both physically outside of her classroom and on virtual wait lists, and she's known around campus as one of the best. Through her pioneering and inspirational instructional methods, Dr. Runnerstrom's passion and dedication to teaching is evident through her unending effort to developing courses and exploring exciting ways to engage students. Please join me and the Office of Information Technology in congratulating Dr. Runnerstrom.
So what we're going to do right now is a tribute to the Engage Learning Institute. So Andrea.
So I felt that I just had to do a shout out to the faculty who did the Engage Learning Institute this year. It was the very first one, and it kicked off this summer of 2017, and it was a series of 8 90-minute workshops over the course of summer and fall quarter that each focused on different active learning strategies and tools. The faculty that signed up for the Institute, they were really betting on the unknown, since I arrived on campus just over a month before the Institute began. So they signed up not knowing that I was going to be the one running it. I wanted to honor the first cohort tonight because of all the hard work they put into the Institute, and even more importantly, for being so welcoming to me. This group asked great questions, contributed creative ideas, and formed a strong community of faculty that value lifelong learning. Many of us still get together for lunch, even though the Institute is over. They are some of the first faculty to earn the Certificate in Engaged Instruction, which gives them the priority scheduling in the new Anteater Learning Pavilion. So thanks to each of you. I learned so much by working with this group, and I see some of you here tonight, so could you please stand as we give you a round of applause.
So before we go to this year's Lecture of the Year award, we do have a short video highlighting the recipient of last year's award. So the video.
I love teaching because I love the subject I teach. I teach a foreign language in a small interactive classroom setting. So I really get to know my students because we talk about them all the time, about where their families come from, their likes and dislikes, what they do. We talk about the cultural biases and stereotypes they may have. We read text and we watch film that hopefully dispel those stereotypes. So I really feel close to my students, and I love watching them develop new skills. Not only the skills that you may expect in a foreign language classroom, like linguistic skills, but also intercultural competence and interpersonal competence. I love teaching because I get to learn from my students, especially since we have students from such diverse background, and I just get to learn a lot from them.
So it is my pleasure to present the Lecturer of the Year award. This year it goes to Max Chow in the Paul Merage School of Business. Max's dedication and success in teaching is really made clear by the enthusiastic support shared not only by his students but the fellow faculty. Even though accounting can be a difficult subject matter, and it really is, and there's a lot of things I could say about accounting. My brother was a CPA for many years in a family of physics professors and mathematicians, so that's an interesting subject. His passion and engaging teaching style inspires student success, and I want to share some of their comments with you. One student writes, "Dr. Chow is a very passionate teacher, and it's obvious that he really enjoys his profession. He has a very solid and effective method for teaching. He provides many opportunities for students to improve in different ways by watching videos, taking quizzes, participating both actively and passively in class, posting questions, and interacting with other students via the discussion page. And he offers multiple discussions per week." Now, this is a tricky one, including on the weekends, in order to cater to our hectic schedules and to give us a chance to do extra review on new material. It really shows that he wants his students to not only learn the material, but to succeed and to enjoy the class while doing so. He is honestly one of the best professors I've ever had. Another shares the instructor's teaching style is that he makes class very engaging. It is fun to be in the class. I love his method of teaching, and although I am not doing very well in the class, overall I feel like I've actually learned a lot. Only students, right? Max also serves as a role model for students through his emphasis on ethical conduct, not only in the classroom, but also in their professions and all aspects of life. He has a zero-tolerance policy towards academic honesty to demonstrate how much he values honesty and ethical behavior. In addition to his classroom experience, Max is also an extraordinary online instructor. His work in developing the school's online offerings resulted in expanded access to business minors for students across campus. He also serves as the faculty advisor for Beta Alpha Psi, the International Honor and Service Organization for Financial and Business Information Students and Professions. Max's engaging teaching has had a profound effect on many students, and alumni remember him fondly long after they have left UCI. He creates a positive and impactful, lasting impression on his students, so it is a privilege to honor him with this award. Please join me in congratulating Max Chow. I'll check again. I don't see Delia yet. But at this point, unfortunately, I would still like to call up from the program in public health, Professor Sulin Hoffer, who is their awardee. I am sorry, I don't know exactly what to say, except you're clearly an amazing teacher, or you would not get this award. Your evaluations are through the roof. Students' quotes are they love you and everything you do. And at this point, we have a short video for last year's recipient of Professor of the Year Award.
I am Renee Link. I am an associate teaching professor in chemistry. I teach really large organic chemistry lab classes. So what do I love about teaching? I could answer that question for hours, but I'll try to keep it short. One of the things I love about teaching is helping students move from thinking about just a right answer to really developing skills. I teach labs, so we focus a lot on what kinds of conclusions can we draw from our data, what can we not tell, how do we gather more evidence. And this is important because it's a skill that you can use in any major, any career, or really in life in general. But beyond that, there's actually something that's really personally important to me about teaching. I was the first person in my family to graduate from college, and several other people in my family actually followed after me, including my parents. It's made a huge impact in our lives, so I know how important this is. I know how important it is to recognize that many of our own students are in a similar position. So while I absolutely love to help all of my students succeed, it matters a lot to me to be out here and make it known to students that I'm in a similar background to them. To let them know that I see you, I know what you're going through, and I know that it's hard, but we're here for you. I did it, and so can you.
So at this point, to present the inaugural Dr. D. Gallo Professor of the Year Award, I call up Dr. D. Gallo.
Good afternoon. This is kind of strange giving out the Me Award. I wasn't sure what else to call it. It sounds kind of pretentious. But I am very glad to be here this year to give out this award to a very deserving individual, Professor Grant McGregor from Developmental and Cell Biology. And I would like you to come up here. I want him to suffer through this.
Hello.
So when I was looking through all the materials that were submitted on his behalf, I was struck in particular by a paragraph that the nominators said kind of encapsulated what they thought was the secret of his success as an exceptional instructor. They said, all things considered, at the end of the day, the most effective traits of this outstanding educator are perhaps the simplest and most basic. Tell an interesting story in an engaging manner with passion, enthusiasm, and knowledge. Yeah, that sounds simple. As we know, it's incredibly hard to do those things. Now, the knowledge part, everybody in this room knows how hard that is. You spent years trying to acquire and master that information, and it's absolutely necessary, but it certainly is not sufficient. We also know that the next thing you have to be able to do is to not just communicate the knowledge, but communicate it well. And there are a whole other set of skills that you need for that that doesn't necessarily come along with the PhD. In fact, most of us are learning it through trial and error, and usually we've got about 400 pairs of eyes staring at us while we're trying to do it. So that's pretty hard. The next thing is, can you take this incredibly complex material that you've spent all of these years trying to master and try to make it simple and relatable to your students? And you've got to do that in such a way that the students aren't satisfied with that it actually motivates them to want to learn more. As one of his students said, Professor McGregor's clear-cut explanations for dizzyingly complex pathways are the best. So he seems to have that skill down too. Now, the passion and enthusiasm parts, I think those are absolutely essential, but in a way they're a little bit part of the alchemy of the exceptional instructor. They're a little bit trickier. Because if you think about it, when you're trying to convey your passion for this thing that you so dearly love, it is really easy to come off looking like a total nerd who has absolutely no personal life. And when you're trying to demonstrate, is that true? You have no personal life? Okay, whoops, sorry, let that slip. And if you're trying to demonstrate enthusiasm, well, that usually requires body language and facial expression and vocal qualities, and that you can just come off looking goofy to your students. So you've got to be able to get that one down, and he nails it, apparently. The next thing, of course, in communicating is not necessarily necessary, but it is a great extra bonus if you can do it. and that's the ability to inject some humor into your teaching. Now, we all know what can happen when it falls flat. You get, the deer in the headlights look, you get the silence with maybe the crickets chirping in the background, and it can be incredibly uncomfortable for both you and your students. And I really wish the nominators had included some examples from your class, but they didn't. But I can tell you that the student comments are absolutely replete with exclamations from the students about how the heck he manages to make the class so engaging, so funny, and at times even playful, which I think is even more amazing for an upper division developmental cell and biology course. Who knew that it could be playful? He also continuously changes up the course, so he doesn't just rest on his laurels. He has something that he calls his knowledge nuggets, and these are recorded discussions about topics of the day. Last year, he and his colleague, Dr. Christine Suderlin, also put together some very extensive reading guides to try to make the text a lot more accessible to the students. They also put together quizzes for every single lecture as a way to encourage the students to try to study a little bit more regularly. He integrates demonstrations, eye clickers, movies, and my personal favorite, the disease of the day. Hopefully there's enough gore in there to keep the students interested. All of these extra materials, of course, are on top of all of that lecture preparation. That is a tremendous amount of extra work while you're doing all those other things that all of you do as faculty. But he does it for his students because he cares so much. So it's certainly not any wonder that the nominator said that his students just really don't have any choice except to participate.
Resistance is futile.
As you can see, he does have the humor. But they absolutely love it. They do it very willingly. Now, some of them even declare that they come away from his courses absolutely enthralled with the material. So now they're the nerds who need to get a life. And then what they do is some of them even become peer tutors for other students. And when they do, it's not just that they were great students in his class. Instead, Professor McGregor works with them, he works with the TAs, and he works with them together, not just so everybody's on the same page and knows whose responsibility is whose, but also so they actually learn how to teach the material. And they do it in very problem-based ways. Now, there are even some students who, when they're done with this class, which, by the way, has a reputation for being incredibly difficult, they have to take the dreaded MCAT and the GRE exam. They walk away from that, it's like piece of cake. The biology courses, questions rather, they think are actually pretty easy after taking his class, and that is definitely saying something. So his nominators go on to say, as you would imagine, that his evaluations are the absolute envy of his colleagues, and likewise they state that he epitomizes excellence in a UC educator. He is an extraordinarily talented, motivated, and committed teacher who has guided thousands of students through the complexity of cell biology. And his students have declared he is simply a one-of-a-kind professor. Please join me in congratulating Professor of the Year, Grant McGregor.
So as you can see, we have amazing instructors at all levels here at UCI. This is a great day and a great way to celebrate them. It's amazing to be here at our 25th celebration. But I want to make one last kind of closing remarks. Hopefully you saw some themes, some common ideas throughout here. But I also encourage you to do something that we were able to do, actually by surprise, I know everybody reads in great detail our newsletter we send out regularly. And so you all noticed this month, I actually got to sit down and interview our chancellor about his class that he's teaching. I was told the chancellor does not do video interviews. I was told we'd go there, we'd get at best a few print quotes, and we could quote them in an article. And we got there and we talked, and he said, no, go ahead and videotape me, which at that point caused extreme stress for the video team because they did not have a tripod. But we got the video. We had a great conversation about the class he taught winter quarter, his excellent and very positive experience of Canvas. I know that's a sore subject, but I'm just going there. I went there. There's a lot of wine in the back if you need it. But no, his was really good, so watch the video. So at all levels of the university, I think teaching is really being elevated as an important endeavor, and it's always been important, but it's getting kind of this new renaissance, can I say? I don't know what the right word is. I'm a physicist. So finally, the last thing, a couple of business things. All awardees need to hang around and make sure they get their picture taken. That's the price of fame. Look for our banners. They're going to be around Aldrich Hall and in the Physical Science Plaza. So your face will be on a banner and around the campus. So look for those. I know you're excited by that, aren't you? We have plenty of food left for the reception. At the table, always there's a centerpiece award. You get to determine how to deliver or distribute the centerpiece at your table. The flowers, not the candles. And I should have looked ahead in my scripts. There were a few thank yous at the back, and Brenda made the mistake of sneaking in. So Brenda, if we can give a big round of applause to Brenda for everything she did. And in addition to Brenda, we want to thank Christian, the media team, Matt, Danny, and Andrew for all their help with everything that went on. Enjoy the food, enjoy the wine, and enjoy getting your picture taken. Thank you.